آله وأصحابه وإخوانه أما بعد يا ربي إن عظمت ذنوبي كثرة فلقد علمت بأن عفوك أعظم إن كان لا يرجوك إلا محسن فبمن يلوذ ويستجير المجرم أدعوك ربي كما أمرت تضرعا فإذا رددت يدي فمن ذا يرحم ما لي إليك الوسيلة إلا الرجاء وجميل عفوك ثم أني مسلم. إخواني في الله, we continue our lecture series regarding the history of the Muslims in Andalus, a history spanning over from the year 92 of the Hijri calendar to the year 897 of the Hijri calendar. Ikhwani fillah, yesterday we took a summary of what we had taken previously. We said that the Muslims conquered Andalus between the year 92 and the year 95 of the Hijri calendar. This is the period known as the conquest of Andalus, led by Musa ibn Nassir and Tariq ibn Ziyad. The year 96 of the Hijri calendar to the year 138 of the Hijri calendar is known as the period of governorship of Andalus. From the year 96 to the year 138, beginning with Abdulaziz ibn Musa ibn Nassir, who is the one who conquered Portugal, up to Yusuf ibn Abdirahman al-Fihri. 96 to 138 is the period of governorship. Then from the year 138, we began a new period that is known as the Islamic Emirate of Andalus, led by Abdirahman al-Dakhil, from the year 138 of the Hijri calendar to the year 316 of the Hijri calendar. So the first leader of this Islamic Emirate was Abdirahman al-Dakhil from the year 138 to the year 172 of the Hijri calendar. How many years was that? Who is our mathematician? 34 years. 138 to 172. Then from 172 to 180 we had who? From 172 to 180, who came after Abdirahman al-Dakhil? Hisham. So from 172 to 180, you had Hisham, the son of Abdirahman al-Dakhil. Then 180 to 206 of the Hijri calendar, we had Al-Hakam. Al-Hakam, the son of Hisham, the son of Abdirahman al-Dakhil. That was the third leader. Then we took also from the year 206 of the Hijri calendar to the year 238 of the Hijri calendar, where we had the second Abdirahman, who is known as Abdirahman al-Awsat, the middle Abdirahman or the second Abdirahman. So this is Abdirahman, the son of? No, the son of Hakam, the son of Hisham, the son of Abdirahman. We said this 100 years was a period of strength for the Muslims in Andalus, from the year 138 of the Hijri calendar to the year 238 of the Hijri calendar. Then we began a period of very weak period for the Muslims from the year 238 of the Hijri calendar to the year 300 of the Hijri calendar. The leaders were as follows. Hope you have good memory. From the year 238 to the year 273 of the Hijri calendar, the leader was Muhammad. The leader was Muhammad, the son of Muhammad, the son of who? Abdirahman, the second. The son of Hakam, the son of Hisham, the son of Abdirahman. Are you together? We're together so far. So he led the Muslims from the year 238 to the year 273. Then from the year 273 to the year 275. Today let's see the people who can memorize. From the year 273 to the year 275, the leader of the Muslims in Andalus was Al-Mundhir. Al-Mundhir, the son of Muhammad, the son of Abdirahman, the son of Hakam, the son of Hisham, the son of Abdirahman al-Dakhil. Are you together? From the year 273 to the year 275. Then from the year 275 to the year 300, his brother, not his son, his brother was the leader of the Muslims, Abdullah. So Abdullah, the son of Muhammad still, the son of Abdirahman the second, the son of Hakam, the son of Hisham, the son of Abdirahman al-Dakhil. So these are the three leaders in this period of weakness. The first one was Muhammad, the second was Al-Mundhir, the son of Muhammad, and the third was Abdullah, the son of Muhammad. Why were the Muslims very weak in this period? Let us take this lesson so that we can learn, Ikhwani fillah, that these are the same mistakes that we make as Muslims or as people. History has a bad habit of repeating itself. And in this series of Andalus, you shall see many times that history repeats itself. The first reason, Ikhwani fillah, is the Muslims became very wealthy in Andalus. They were so wealthy, there was no poor person in the entire land of Andalus. No one will ask for money to beggars. You see these big signs I've seen kept in the mosque. No begging. There was nothing like that. There was no begging. You can't even find. You go to some countries, Ikhwani fillah, you have sadaqah in your pocket. Even in the world right now, you can't find. Go to Doha. You look for someone you want to give sadaqah in Doha. You have to go where the laborers work. Maybe you get someone to give in Doha. Also in Riyadh, in some cities you can't find people to give. So there's no begging. The people are very rich. The Prophet ﷺ, he says in the authentic hadith about the Muslims, he says, لا فقر أخشى عليكم. I do not fear for you, O Muslims, poverty. ولكن أخشى عليكم أن تبسط عليكم الدنيا كما بسطت على من كان قبلكم. What I fear for you, O Muslims, is that you become very wealthy, like the previous nations were wealthy. فَتَنَافَسُوهَا كَمَا تَنَافَسُوهَا. And you start competing in this dunya. The best car, the best houses, the most expensive weddings, the whatever people compete, the best foods. فَتَنَافَسُوهَا كَمَا تَنَافَسُوهَا فَتُهْلِكَكُمْ كَمَا أَهْلَكَتْهُمْ. And that will destroy you as it destroyed the previous people. So this is the first reason that the Muslims became very weak in this period. Wealth. They became attached to wealth. The second reason, Yukhani Fillah, is a man you mentioned in the previous series. One man who came from the east, from the lands of Baghdad, Ziryab, Ali ibn Nafi' al-Mawsili. This man, Yukhani Fillah, was born in the city of Mosul in Iraq. Which prophet came from this city? Just for benefit. Which prophet came from the city of Mosul in Iraq? The one who was swollen by the well. Who is he? Yunus alayhi salam came from the city of Mosul in Iraq. So this man, Ali ibn Nafi' al-Mawsili, he is a musician, an entertainer. He goes to the Khalifa al-Ma'mun and starts entertaining him after being taught by his teacher Ibrahim al-Mawsili. The teacher becomes very jealous and says to him, it seems you want to take over my job. Either you leave this city of Baghdad or I'll finish you. So this man, Ziryab, he runs away from Baghdad. Where do I go? He goes westwards until he reaches the land of Andalus. At the time, the leader of the Muslims, Andalus, is Abdirahman al-Awsat. So he comes to Andalus and he starts singing for them. And they love his voice, the people of Andalus. So much so that he started teaching music. And he opens the first school of music in Andalus. And Ikhwani Fillah, when music enters the heart, the Quran goes away. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. Surah Al-Luqman. And the people who purchase this music to misguide the people. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he says, Wallahi, this verse is about music. So he starts teaching people music. He opens the first school of music in Spain, in Muslim Andalus. He teaches people how to use musical instruments they didn't know. He tells them how to keep their voices up and down. Teaches them ways of improving their voices. People love him a lot. Then he started teaching them how to dance. How to dance. Initially it was the men only dancing, then the women also, then it spread in society. Then number 3, Ikhwani Fillah, he teaches them stories, legends. Like the Arabian Nights, those stories, fake stories, fables, myths, stories that people get attached to, and they live the stories of the Quran, the stories of the prophets, the stories of the righteous people. Number 4, Ikhwani Fillah, he teaches them hygiene. Tells them every morning you have to brush your teeth, you have to take a shower in the morning and the evening. This is Ziryab who taught them this, the thing we do right now. Morning and evening showers, deodorant, you have to use deodorant. Then he tells them, you guys are so behind. Let me teach you about fashion. You should not wear the same clothes you were wearing last year, this year. No. In fact, even when we go a step further, every season, the 4 seasons that we have in Europe, in Spain, every season you have a collection of wear, of fashion. So there's a summer collection, there's a winter collection, there's a spring collection, there's an autumn collection. He goes even further, he says, no, you cannot wear the same clothes in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. So the people of Andalus, every day, you have to change clothes how many times? 3 times. In the morning you have your clothes, in the afternoon you have, in the evening you're going out, you're going for dinner, you're going somewhere, you have your clothes. So fashion is sorted. Then he tells them, you guys are eating like barbarians. There's a particular way of sitting when you eat. You have to eat on a leather kitamba. You have to put on 3 types of handkerchiefs. You have to have a handkerchief from the mouth, for the neck, for the face. You have to have a 3-course meal. You can't just eat food like that. No, you have to start with soup. You have to start with starters. Then you have to have the main course. Then you have to have the dessert. The 3-course meal. He's the one who brought it, Ziryab. So he taught his people, this is how you're supposed to eat. I'm civilizing you people. So the people got so attached to Ziryab. He teaches them, you have to have particular hairstyles. You can't just be like that. So everyone in Andalus wants to compete in this new competition of dunya, of fashion. What is the new fashion trend? What is the new clothes? What is the new music? Who is the new... Everything in society changes. And people assume that this is civilization, this is progress. But ikhwani fillah, when you start getting attached to this music, when you start getting attached to these movies and these things, it leaves the Quran. You leave the Quran. You live the Sunnah. You live the way of the righteous Muslims. You don't have time for ibadah if the entire night you're watching the latest movies that are out, the latest series that are out. What time will you have to converse with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This dunya becomes entrenched in your heart. So this is number 2. Number 3, ikhwani fillah, the Muslims became very weak in this period, 238 to 300. This is a lesson for us to learn. Are the same things not occurring right now? They are. Their history repeats itself. Because that shaitan that was working them days is the same shaitan that is working now with the same tricks. Shaitan has 10,000 years or 100,000 years of experience, but it keeps repeating the same tricks because we still fall for those same tricks. So number 3, ikhwani fillah, a betrayer appeared amongst the Muslims in the land of Andalus. And this is a way of destroying the Muslims always. The Prophet ﷺ was in Medina. There had to be a present of a betrayer in Medina. Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, the chief of the Munafiqeen in Medina. And that was a threat to the Muslims, even more so than the threat of the Mushrikeen. Because an enemy is better than an enemy who hides in plain sight. So this man, a betrayer appeared in the land of Andalus, is called Umar ibn Hafsun. So if there's an Umar that you're supposed to curse, it's this Umar, not the Umar that they targeted the page of Sheikh Uthman Khamis, and then they started inserting Abu Bakr and Umar. No, those are the righteous, the best of us. But this Umar ibn Hafsun is one of the cursed people. So he starts his revolution, he was a bandit, he was a criminal with a band of about 400 thieves. He starts a revolution towards the south of Spain, of Andalus. And he captures the entire south of Andalus. So the entire south of Andalus, the cities of Granada, the city of Jayan, the city of Astuja, all these cities were taken by this man, Umar ibn Hafsun. In the year 264, he started his rebellion. Then in the year 286, he did something very strange that is very rare in Islamic history. He declared himself no longer Muslim. He says, my name from now on is Samuel. My name is Samuel Hafsun. I'm no longer Muslim. ارتد عن دين الله عز وجل. He left the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal and declared himself a Christian, Samuel, from the year 286 of the Hijri calendar. So the south has already been taken. Towards the east, the city of Valencia, a group of Muslims, they rebelled and they formed their own independent state. Towards the east. Towards the center of Andalus, a place called Toledo, the former capital city of Andalus, they rebelled, they became independent. Towards the northeast, Zaragoza, rebelled, independent. Towards the west, Portugal, all these lands towards the west, Abdirahman al-Jalliqi, he declared independence. Towards the north, the Christian kingdom of Leon expanded and split into two. There's a kingdom called Leon, a kingdom called Navarre, another kingdom, Barcelona, was taken over, the kingdom of Aragon. So there are 3 kingdoms towards the north. North Africa, ikhwani fillah, was taken by the Shias. Not even the Shias, the most extremist sect of the Shias known as the Fatimids, the Dawla al-Ubaidiyah. They massacred the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. You pray Salat Taraweeh, you found this Bukhari, your name is Aisha, Abu Bakr, Umar, you're killed. You're a scholar from the scholars of Islam, you're killed. They massacred Ahlul Sunnah in North Africa while declaring this Ismaili sect, this extremist Ismaili sect in North Africa. So this was the state of Andalus in the year 300 of the Hijri calendar. Umar ibn Hafsun has taken over. He's supported in the south by the Fatimid Empire, and from the north through the Atlantic Ocean, through the Mediterranean, by Leon. So the Muslims, the leader at the time, Abdullah ibn Muhammad, was only controlling Cordoba. Only Cordoba was led by the Emirate of Islam. All these other places have been taken over either by rebellions from fellow Muslims, either by Umar ibn Hafsun, or the Christians are taken over. Andalus, ikhwani fillah, was a lost cause. Everyone knew that this Andalus is going to go away. And further to make problems more, the crown prince, the son of, is called Muhammad Abdullah. Muhammad Abdullah ibn Muhammad, he was assassinated. Who killed the crown prince? His own brother, Mutarrif ibn Muhammad Abdullah. He killed Mutarrif ibn Abdullah ibn Muhammad ibn Abdirahman al-Awsat. He killed his own brother. So Ikhwanifillah, this was the state of the Muslims in Andalus. They were so sure that they're going to lose this land that they had occupied from the time of Tariq ibn Ziyad. And if you look at the Islamic world at the time, the Khalifa of the Muslims in Baghdad was only ruling Baghdad. Bahrain, Ikhwanifillah, the area that is known as Bahrain, the area that is known as Najd, Al-Yamama, all these areas was taken by the Qaramita. These Qaramita are the ones who attacked Mecca and they stole the Hajar al-Aswad. There was no Hajar al-Aswad to kiss for 22 years because these people in Bahrain, they stole. So the Muslims, Ikhwanifillah, the entire world were divided, and more so in the land of Andalus. This was the state of Ikhwanifillah in Andalus in the year 300 of the Hijri calendar. So the leader of the Muslims at the time in Andalus, Abdullah, the son of Muhammad, the son of Abdirahman al-Awsat, he asks his sons, who amongst you is ready to lead this land? All the sons refused. Every single son was offered to be the next ruler of Andalus. They used to kill each other. They used to fight over this position. But everyone refused. So the grandson is the one that took over this. Is it okay, the camera? So the grandson is the one who took this responsibility, Khanifillah. And this grandson is one of the greats of Islamic history. He is known as the third Abdirahman. Abdirahman Nassir. Abdirahman Nassir. He started leading the Muslims from the year 300 of the Hijri calendar to the year 350 of the Hijri calendar. What did this Abdirahman do when he became the leader of the Muslims? As I told you, he was the grandson. He was the son of the crown prince who was assassinated. Remember the crown prince who was killed by his own brother? He is the son. So Abdirahman, the son of Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, the son of Muhammad, the son of Abdirahman al-Awsat, the son of Hakam, the son of Hisham, the son of Abdirahman al-Dakhil. This was the new leader of the Muslims in Andalus. He was only 22 years of age. As we mentioned in the previous lecture, Ikhwanifillah, most of our history, most of the greats, or many of them, were from the youth. They're not from the elderly. So give the youth a chance in leadership, Ikhwanifillah. So the first thing he did, Abdirahman al-Nassir, Abdirahman III, he cleans up all the government departments. Anyone who is corrupt, anyone who is not fit for office, they don't have the exposure or the knowledge, he removes them. He keeps people who are qualified, people who are straightforward, and people who are honest. And this is the best way, Ghanifillah, that if you want to make a strong government, look after the institutions of your country. If you are a leader of any state, make sure you have strong institutions, and that state will gain a lot of strength. It will become very powerful. If you are a good leader and you have weak institutions, you're not going anywhere. So the strength of institutions is very important. So number one, he strengthens institutions by keeping people who are worthy of being in leadership positions. Number two, Ikhwanifillah, he made the Sharia compulsory upon the land of Andalus. The position of scholars must be respected. And the position that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the Sharia, the Islamic law, it must be respected. Why? Because when we follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us and we leave that which has been prohibited, we gain strength, we gain victory. So Ikhwanifillah, the scholars became open. They had freedom to speak. It's not proper for you as a leader to keep the position, the scholars quiet. And you think that is helping your kingdom. These people talk a lot. When they talk, I'm going to look bad. I'm going to look weak in society. No, these scholars are there to give you strength, to show you when you're wrong. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, radhiallahu anhu, he says when he becomes the Khalifa of the Muslims, if you see me wrong, if you see me erring in any place, فَقَوِّمُونِ, give me strength, correct me. Even in front of the people, correct me, no harm. So he gave the scholars that position. Number three, he looks around. The only land that he is leading right now is Cordoba and the villages around Cordoba. He says the first enemy I should deal with, and it is Islamically wajib, is this person who left, apostated the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. This person called Umar ibn Hafsun, Samuel. I have to deal with Samuel. So he declares war on Samuel. From the year, just 2 months after he became the leader of the Muslims in Andalus, he declares war on Samuel. So he fights him until he gets back the land of Jayyan and gets land of Astudja back. He defeats him thoroughly until Umar ibn Hafsun says, I give up. Let us make peace. I give you 162 fortresses. We make peace. Then number two, he declares war on Sevilla, Ishbilia, because it was revolting. He wants those Muslims in Sevilla to join his army to become one formidable army for the Muslims. So he attacks Sevilla and he defeats the person who rebelled there, and the Muslims, they join and they become one again. And that is the good thing with the Muslims. Even if we fight today, always leave room for reconciliation tomorrow, that we become brothers one again, because we are joined by something bigger than blood. We are joined by La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. It is not our nature to fight. We do not want to fight, but sometimes it's a must for us to fight, for us to get peace. So Sevilla, he brought it back. So the Muslims in the other states are shaking. Is he going to attack us in Zaragoza? Is he going to attack us in Valencia? Is he going to attack us in Toledo? Is he going to come to the west in Portugal and take over? He does something very strange in the year 302 of the Hijri calendar. He leaves all these Muslims that are rebelling, and he goes to the true enemy. He goes towards the north to make sure that they remember that there are still Muslims on this land. You cannot mess around. He goes and attacks the kingdom of Leon. And he gives them a thorough lesson. He defeats the armies and he makes them حتى يعطوا الجزية عن يد وهم صاغرون, until they go back to the previous agreements that they had with Muslims and they stop attacking the Muslims. He fights them for many years, for about 2 years, from the year 302 of the Hijri calendar to the year 304 of the Hijri calendar. Then he goes back to the city of Cordoba, and the Muslims all around are saying this guy is not attacking us, he's attacking the true enemy. This is a true Muslim. This is a person we should all gather around. So the first leader who rebelled, Zaragoza, he goes to Cordoba and says, I want to make peace. I surrender to you in peace. I'm not going to fight with you. Take the land of Zaragoza and put it into your kingdom. And that is how sometimes you can use wisdom to bring Muslims close to you. Show them through your actions, correct actions. You don't need to fight every time. There's not every time you have to fight a battle. Sometimes you can fight indirectly and you win supporters in a different manner. So in the year 304, Zaragoza came back. Then in the year 306 of the Hijri calendar, another blessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this man. Umar ibn Hafsun, who became Samuel, he died in this year 306 of the Hijri calendar. He was 96 years old. 20 years ago, in the year 286, as we mentioned, he had left Islam. And he died upon this state at the age of 96. He died a non-Muslim. He died a murtad an dinillahi azza wa jal. When news reached Abdirahman Ibn Nassir, he took advantage. Usually when a leader dies, there's a transition period to the next leader. Before the new leader establishes authority, it's not very easy. So he took the advantage of this and attacked the south. And he managed to conquer the entire south, Jabal Tariq included. All this area he conquered, and they came back to the fold of Islam. The cities of Sevilla, Granada, all these areas, Murcia, they came back to the fold of the Muslims in the year 306. Then in the year 308, he went and attacked the city of Toledo that was rebelling. He brought back to the fold of the Muslims. Then he went northwards. He fought against the kingdom of Leon and the kingdom of Navarre. He defeated them. He captured the city of Pamplona. You know the city of Pamplona where they have this bull fighting. If you watch TV, sometimes there's a season where people are fighting bulls in the city of Pamplona in Spain. He captured it and became back to the fold of the Muslims. In the year 308 or so on and so forth. In the year 312, and so on, he managed to conquer the entire of Andalus. By the year 316 of the Hijri calendar, all the lands of Andalus that were captured, and even more, they are all captured and they were brought back to the fold of Andalus. And Andalus was one state being led by this great man, Abdirahman III. He looks at the entire Islamic world, and he sees that the Khalifa is only in Baghdad. Just a Khalifa by name. The people who are actually leading the Khilafah at that time were the Turkish people of Turkish origin. The entire Muslim world was divided into dynasties and dynasties and dynasties everywhere. The Shias were leading some places, the Turkmen, the people, tribal allegiances. The entire Muslim world was divided. Is this the Khalifa of the Muslims who rules only a city? No. He looks at North Africa, the Shias, the Ismailis, the Aga Khan, and so on. The Ismaili Nizaris and other Ismailis, they have captured the entire North Africa and they've declared themselves the Fatimid Khilafah, the Caliphate of the Fatimids in North Africa. Then he says, no. أنا أحق بالخلافة. I am more worthy of being the new Khalifa of the Muslims, to be the new Amir al-Mu'mineen. And the year 316 of the Hijri calendar, Ikhwani fillah, this great man, the greatest leader that Spain and Portugal has produced, Muslim or non-Muslim, up to today, if you ask the people of Spain and Portugal, who's the greatest leader that came out of the land of Spain and Portugal, is this man, Abdirahman III, Abdirahman Ibn Nassir. In the year 316 of the Hijri calendar, he declared himself the Khalifa of the entire Muslim world. And this begin a new period, Ikhwani fillah, that is known as the Islamic Caliphate of Andalus, from the year 316 of the Hijri calendar to the year 400 of the Hijri calendar. With that, we've completed the series regarding the Islamic Emirate of the Bani Umayyah from the year 138 to the year 316 of the Hijri calendar, and we begin a new period that is known as the Islamic Caliphate of Andalus. Ikhwani fillah, what happened in this period that the Muslims were so powerful, they had so much strength and so much glory, more so because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought this young man. In the year 316, how old is he? He was 38 years of age, and he was the most powerful leader in the entire of Europe. No, in the entire world. The most powerful leader was this man, Abdirahman Ibn Nassir. We shall look more at his biography and his actions within this period, and thereafter what happened to the Muslims in this period between 316 to 400 of the Hijri calendar. Then what happened thereafter with the destruction and the division of the Muslims, and they became very weak once again. This is what we shall look at in the forthcoming lecture on next week on Friday. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.